Welcome back to the 50 Shades of Horror Challenge. I'm your host, Roommate. The fifth shade of the challenge is 1990's Troll 2. If you thought that the Rocky Horror Picture Show was rough around the edges, well, prepare yourself, because this movie is rough around the everything. The creator was trying to make something truly scary and disturbing, but due to a lack of understanding of the craft and an overabundance of hubris, this movie is unintentionally hilarious and bewildering. But intention can be overrated because this movie is so much fun anyway. And all it took was
a small accident to make it happen. An accident!
The creators were setting out to make a terrifying tale of fantastical evil. I can't tell, but I think there's an underlying message against Luddites and/or vegetarians. It could just be plain old racism against Celtic people for all I know. But it ends up as an incongruous mess of ideas that uselessly jumble together. And because of this messiness, the movie has me laughing my ass off every scene. This movie is at its best when you don't know what the hell will happen next, so watch it first. Either through 3 free services that let you stream it, Hoopla, Tubi, and Pluto TV, or renting it in HD through Apple TV or Amazon for only $4. However you do it, check this movie out. Okay, let's get into it. A grandpa is reading a fantasy tale to his grandson Joshua. The story introduces the goblins. Did you think there were gonna be trolls in this movie? That would make way too much sense. We learn the goblins' MO. Chase people through the woods with sticks, then feed them corrupted food, which turns them into
half man, half plant. The goblin's favorite food?
Okay, sure, whatever you say, Gramps. The goblins are masters of illusion, since the snow bunny feeding the tale's hero is actually
the goblin in disguise.
Grandpa says this is
based on a true story.
Joshua doubts him, but Grandpa says
goblins still exist.
Joshua's mom interrupts the story, revealing that Grandpa was never there. And check out the mom's death stare. That's her only expression for the entire movie. Joshua explains that he can talk to Grandpa's ghost, but his mom ain't having it. She tells Joshua,
Grandpa Seth has been gone for more than 6 months now. I know it was very difficult for you. It was also very difficult for your father, and for Holly, and for me, his daughter.
This stilted and unnatural dialogue is a hallmark of the movie. Like, who talks like this? It gives the whole movie this surreal vibe. She tells Joshua to
banish him from your mind.
Joshua's family is gonna swap houses with a family from the tiny country town of Nilbog. The dad is really excited about living a timeless, rustic lifestyle. The mom is worried about what Joshua was talking about, so she asks him,
who are the goblins?
The goblins?
Josh's sister Holly is working out and gets spooked by her boyfriend Elliot. She hits him with a dick punch.
Release your instincts in the bathroom.
Are you nuts? You trying to turn me into a homo?
Wouldn't it be too hard? If my father discovers you here, he'd cut off your little nuts and eat them.
Wow, where do I even begin? Why is she insulting her boyfriend's junk? And what's wrong with this family?
They were threatening castration.
These are supposed to be the good guys? God damn. Holly tells Elliot about the family trip and he wants to join. She demands his friends don't go. Elliot pleads with her to let his friends tag along, but Holly says,
I don't believe in group sex.
Bummer. This is a bummer, man. That's a bummer.
We cut to the family in their van, with Holly upset that they don't wait for Elliot. There's rising tension in the car over Elliot, but Mom knows how to put them all at ease.
Joshua, sing that song I like so much.
Row, row, row your boat gently down a stream.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Yeah, that's relaxing. Joshua sees another vision of Grandpa as a hitchhiker. He gets his dad to stop, and Grandpa warns him,
You have to make them go back.
Why?
This is a bad place, little one. It even gives me the creeps.
But Josh's attempts to persuade them to turn back fall on deaf ears. They show up at the farmhouse and find food already prepared for them.
Typical country hospitality.
Grandpa is at the window to warn Joshua.
Don't let them eat, Joshua. For the love of God, don't let them eat.
They're about to be poisoned. Grandpa tells Joshua,
You have 30 seconds to come up with some way to stop them.
So Grandpa isn't only a ghost, he's also a wizard. But what the hell? Joshua unzips his pants. We cut to them throwing their food away since apparently it smells.
Do you see this writing? Do you know what it means? Hospitality. And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it!
So Joshua pissed on their food? Good lord! Their food was about a millimeter from their faces. Just think about the splash factor. And what did this look like to the rest of the family? Did reality just blink from all their food being dry to being drenched? Was Joshua still midstream when time unfroze? Wouldn't they think he's an X-Man or something because he could stop time? Whatever the case, Joshua is getting punished.
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Tightening my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains.
Wow, we have more than an hour left in the movie and we are already at Troll Psycho 100. Elliot and his friends are in a camper, making their way to Nilbog separately. They ask him,
Are you sure it's full of beautiful girls, Elliot?
Lots of them free and unattached.
Yeah!
one of them tires of the stank camper.
I'm going outside for a breath of fresh air.
Hey Arnold, if you find any twins, don't be greedy.
It doesn't take Arnold long to find a lady. Arnold tries the foolproof seduction technique of tackling. She asks him,
Are you one of the monsters?
Well, I've been called a lot of things, but not a monster.
You're human?
Very human. You want to see?
ugh. Well, his grossness goes unnoticed since she's been poisoned and the goblins are chasing her. And I haven't commented on it yet, but these goblin costumes are the worst. Even for Halloween costumes, they look bad. Forget about this being a movie. And the fact that they're shooting in broad daylight isn't doing them any favors. This one's lifeless eyes are just so bad. Arnold tells him he'll kick all their asses. He tries to go back to his damsel in distress, but... After he lets out his 24-karat gold scream, they seek refuge in an old building. Then we meet Credence.
This is my house.
She introduces herself to the pair.
I am Credence. My ancestors came from Stonehenge.
Arnold says, yeah, that's neat, lady, but we need medical attention. She says that they don't need no fancy Western medicine. She brings them 2 potions, and of course they drink it. How could you not trust this face? The lady screams as green liquid leaks from her forehead. She climbs up the stairs.
There must be a logical reason for all of this.
Shut up!
She collapses, becoming increasingly goopy.
She is one with the vegetable world. She is food for my children.
Even though she's just a head atop green goo, she screams as the goblins waddle towards her. Arnold finally realizes what's up.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
You've just witnessed the greatest moment in cinematic history. You're welcome. Back at the camper, Drew heads off to the general store to get some food. Drew gets a ride from a cop named
Sheriff Gene Freak.
Well, doesn't that put your mind at ease? The sheriff unsuspiciously gives Drew some food. They pull up in front of the general store where locals give them a 1,000-yard stare. Before leaving, Drew asks him,
Where did the girls from around here go at night?
yeah, it's that country hospitality. Then this creepy motherfucker pops out and asks Drew what he wants.
Coffee.
There's no coffee here in Nilbog. It's the devil's drink.
He won't give him anything but milk. Drew stumbles out, already drunk on the poison. The friendly locals tell him he should meet up with Arnold at Credence's house. Back at the family's house, Holly works up the confidence to stand up to Elliot by doing a bizarre dance routine in a Garfield onesie.
Either me or your boys. Take it or leave it.
And then, oh God, Grandpa's disembodied head is calling out to her in the mirror. The family gathers in the hallway, and Joshua tries to convince him he's not crazy after all.
See, it wasn't me this time.
The family is also out of food, so Dad and Josh head into town. Credence scares the mom before offering her some poison pudding. Holly lets her mom know that she's heading out, and Credence says,
Hello, beautiful.
Hi.
She is very appetizing.
Appetizing?
Provocative.
hitting on a woman via her mom. A bold strategy. Credence leaves the dessert and heads back to tend to Arnold. Joshua and his dad catch the store during their sermon break. While the dad reads up on evil vegetables, Joshua tries to contact his grandpa in the van's side mirror. I guess since he's used up his spell slots on the time freeze, grandpa can only appear in mirrors until he's had a long rest. Joshua doesn't see him, but the mirror informs him that
It's goblins spelled backwards! This is their kingdom!
And yes, this does apply to every city. For instance, Dublin is the kingdom of the Nilbuds. Dad has fallen asleep for some reason, and Joshua skateboards off somewhere? Apparently he knew the sermon was in this dilapidated barn. He finds a vantage point in a hole directly above the pastor's head. The sermon is basically just rambling about how much meat smells.
The stink of smoked carcasses.
Joshua needs a better look, for reasons, and jostles his skateboard, getting everyone's attention.
Gotcha, bitch!
The goblins try to force-feed Joshua some ice cream, but wouldn't you know it, his dad randomly woke up and wandered to the barn so he can stop them. All of them are no match for Dad, so they let Joshua go. Joshua explains,
Daddy, they're goblins! Monstrous beings!
he points out the irrefutable evidence that Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards. Checkmate, goblins. Why do the goblins let them go?
We need time for some things to happen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the some things. Silly me. Holly then confronts Elliot.
Choose, Elliot. Either me or your friends.
I don't understand.
Do you understand now?
That must be why Holly was working out. She wants to be in tip-top shape for her domestic violence. Elliot finally agrees, leaving his last friend alone.
What about the beautiful liberated girls?
Yeah, brah, where are they? Drew finally stumbles into where Arnold is treeifying. After Drew removes the bark over Arnold's mouth, Arnold barks at him.
Grab the pot and drag me out quick!
They begin their daring escape. I've got bad news for you boys. I don't think Credence's place is flower pot accessible. They take too long and Credence returns.
Oh no.
She bitch slaps Drew into the bed. Then as retribution for Arnold's escape attempt, she goes at him with a chainsaw, telling him it won't hurt, it'll only tickle. Strangely, she's not lying. When Elliot and the family return to the house, the whole town is already there. Batshit insane mom explains,
Oh, Michael! Look what a surprise they have prepared for us!
Mom isn't too happy to see Elliot, but Holly reassures her.
Mom, Elliot's part of the family now.
Yeah, Mom, I kept my pimp hand strong, so now my hoe knows his place. Of course the goblins made them lots of food, and Joshua is still warning them.
If you eat this stuff, they'll kill us. They're goblins.
Dad scolds Joshua and sends him back to his room. That's fine since Joshua can call on Grandpa from his mirror. Oh shit, it's Credence! She breaks through the mirror in goblin form and attacks Josh. Cowering in the corner, he calls on Grandpa, who just finished his long rest, and rescues Josh with an axe to Credence's hand. Where'd the axe come from? Why can Grandpa affect the physical world now? The better question is, why should any of this make sense? Credence heads back to her abode, clutching her severed hand. Grandpa's bawling out of control, telling Joshua that they
Must move quickly to put out the fire.
What fire?
Guess.
What the fuck? Why'd he say it like that? And how does a ghost make a Molotov cocktail? Joshua and Grandpa try to become wicked fire starters, but their plans are thwarted by the goblin pastor. The family is being serenaded by the goblin army. The goblin pastor says they can't be stopped and tells Grandpa,
As for you, old man, go back to your kingdom of shadows.
Then the pastor uses goblin magic to exorcise the Grandpa's ghost. Grandpa uses his final action to cast lightning bolt, igniting the Molotov. Grandpa dies again, but not in vain. As the dad puts out the fire, the family sees through the goblin's illusion. Are the rest of the goblins gonna play it off like they're just as surprised as the family is? Of course not. Sheriff Freak spills the beans.
He was one of us, and you killed him. Now it's your turn.
But by now, he means several hours later, so the goblins let the family awkwardly back up into the house. Why don't they go to the car? Because the movie has 20 minutes left, duh. Meanwhile, Credence grows her hand back, with red press-ons and all. Then she gets a makeover. I gotta say, for all the terrible stunts this movie tries to pull, this one actually works. It may be the best example of the ugly girl turns hot trope I've ever seen. Usually some beautiful woman goes from a gorgeous lady wearing glasses to a gorgeous lady without glasses. But Credence had scummy teeth, a gray wispy bun, chapped lips, overdone eyeshadow, overly pale foundation, ridiculous blush, and frumpy boxy clothes in addition to the dorky glasses. Most of all, the actress made unflattering expressions, contorting her smile and making crazy wide eyes in every scene. So when she turns around and fixes all those problems at once, looking like a total knockout, we're actually surprised. Way to go, Troll 2! You unironically did something impressive. Credence struts over to take out Elliot's last friend, and she has the sexiest of vegetables, corn.
Do you like it?
Shall we eat it together?
He can't believe he's so lucky to get a babe and a cob. These close-ups on lips and thigh-high stockings make it feel like we're watching Rocky Horror again. She pushes him down and whips out a nice cob. He's scared to put it in his mouth.
What's the matter? Aren't you hungry?
Actually, I like popcorn.
Well, no problem. All we have to do is heat it up.
They start double-teaming the cob, and the camper blows big loads of popcorn all over them. Bloody metal, mate! In it. The family is holed up in the house. Sheriff Freak tells them,
There's sandwiches for tonight in here. It will go easier if you eat them. Otherwise, we'll be forced to kill you violently.
what a negotiator this dude is. Joshua says they need Grandpa. But how is he gonna come back? Holly muses,
But how do we get him to come? By holding a seance, maybe? You're a genius, big sister!
so they light the candles, hold hands, and Grandpa magics himself back. Joshua passes out and turns into a goblin? What? How? Why? The rest of the goblins rush them, and the family runs upstairs. As the dad runs up, a goblin teleports directly over his head. It looks like they're trapped upstairs. Until they aren't? Okay. It turns out Grandpa teleported Joshua to Credence's house. The goblin nabs him and they wrestle a bit, but then Grandpa shows up and one punches the goblin to death. Grandpa tells Joshua where the goblins get their power.
Stonehenge magic stone. The goblin's magic power.
So the reason for all this madness,
Just rocks. And it's a wonder of the world. And it's a wonder. I wonder why it's a wonder. Maybe that's why it's a wonder.
so Joshua and Grandpa lay hands on Stonehenge to disenchant it. Sure. Grandpa tells Joshua,
Remember, it's only the power of goodness that can defeat the goblins. Goodbye forever.
so Grandpa dies for the third time. The family gets cornered downstairs. Elliot appeals to them.
Please, let's talk. We're all humans here.
Brilliant. Elliot's last friend is drowning in popcorn, but Credence dismounts when Stonehenge's magic is disrupted. The goblins say,
Our queen is calling us.
so they let the family go. Credence seizes Joshua and throws him to her goblins while cackling maniacally. Credence moves in to force-feed Joshua some green slime. But Joshua is like, setup? What setup? I'll just pull a Deus Ex Machina out of my backpack.
A double-decker bologna sandwich!
Don't do it! Think about the toxins.
The goblin's kryptonite is baloney, so they shield themselves, letting Joshua escape to chew it while touching Stonehenge. The family rushes in, and they all put their hands on Stonehenge so that the power of goodness can make the goblins puke and spasm. Credence screams as all her babies disappear. Then we smash cut to the car pulling up back at the house. Wow. Such pacing. Randomly, the dad says he needs to go to the office, while Elliot and Holly go to his house, leaving Mom and Joshua alone. Joshua goes to his room, but he hears a sinister whispering.
Mommy!
He heads downstairs and sees the evil creatures are back. They've transformed Mom into their food and rub it all over their masks.
Do you want some, Joshua?
Congratulations, you made it through Troll 2. I hope you haven't completely lost your mind. This was a difficult one to pinpoint its scariness. It wants to be a conventional horror movie, but its laughably unrealistic creatures and baffling pacing make it difficult to be scared. I figure it's more disturbing than the movies so far, both in the grossness of turning people into plants to eat them, and in its unnerving incomprehensibility. So it makes you feel like you're losing your mind. The movie does have a persistent sense of dread, accentuated with some uncomfortable framing, and it has a downer ending. But overall, I think it's way too silly to be seriously frightening. So at 5 shades in, I'd say we're still not very scary. This week's recommendation is Red Letter Media's Troll 2 review. Their channel is all about movie reviews, and the caliber of their content is phenomenal. This video is part of RLM's Half in the Bag series, where they typically talk about new releases. They've added different series over the years, including Best of the Worst, where they watch tons of bad movies and have fun with them. Troll 2 was among the inspirations for that series. In this review, they talk about what makes this movie so unique and compelling. Here's Mike's take on the first time watching it.
The first time you watch it, and I noticed this, you specifically watching it, you're not laughing so much at how bad it is, you're more just confused.
Yeah. I was like this. And then you realize that you're making that face.
Right.
Your brain makes that face because it doesn't know what to do with your face muscles. Your brain is so transfixed on trying to figure out what's happening that you lose control. I'm lucky I didn't shit in my pants.
After giving their thoughts on Troll 2, they discuss a documentary, Best Worst Movie, directed by the actor who played Joshua. The documentary is about how Troll 2 became a cult classic and the effect on the lives of the people who made it. Jay points out a revelation that the actor who played the dad has in the documentary.
This movie also contains one of the greatest moments of a person's sort of self-realization ever caught on camera, which is when George Hardy is at the horror convention.
Oh, right.
Oh my God, this folks are weird. I mean, this is not Halloween. What's today's date? March that 9th? March, yeah. It's freaking weird. These folks are just, they've lost it.
And he's talking about all the washed up horror actors that are there signing autographs for a movie they did 20 years ago. And he's like, don't they have anything better to do? He's like, then I thought, don't I have anything better to do? It's like, oh, he kind of gets it, finally.
Yeah, he kind of goes through a journey.
So go ahead and check out their thoughts on Troll 2 and its aftermath. The link's in the description. What do you think? Is Troll 2 scarier than what we've seen before? Or does it belong further up on the list? Do you think we've passed by any movies that aren't as scary as this but belong on the list? Let me know in the comments. Join us again in the next video, where the sixth shade will bring us back to something not nearly as crazy, with exactly 0 goblins. There will be plenty more ghosts, though. It'll be a fairly lighthearted comedy, and the jokes are going to be intentional this time. Make sure you share this video so everyone can know the joys of Troll 2 and be ready for next week. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when the next video is posted. And like this video, since it's only the power of goodness that can defeat the goblins. And don't leave the 50 Shades of Horror challenge yet. I won't allow it!